Welcome back to the Padilla Family Homestead. Today it's a Saturday here. We are working on tearing these down. We have the trash can behind us. Living in the city, I don't have a place to compost this and so forth, so it's just going in there and they separate out all the green waste and stuff from there. So we're going to be tearing these down and going to be revamping them. Part of this video will be on time-lapse with some music. Other parts are going to have me talking in it. But I'm going to show you kind of how easy it is to reset. We're also going to be restacking everything. So I'll have all my leaf planters all together, all my regular GreenStalk tower all together, and have them set up the way that they're meant to be set up and get that going. So it's a nice 70-something degree day today. It's beautiful. It actually rained this morning. I purposely did not water to make these lighter. Luckily they didn't soak up a lot of the rain, but it did add a little bit. My daughter will be helping me, and we just have family life going on. It's a Saturday right by the front door, so you hear giggles, you hear life. It's us just living life. So we're gonna get started. I am so thankful for my daughter's help here. We took everything down, emptied it. We found tons and tons of bugs. I will tell you what, guys, the amount of bugs in a year and a half that this thing, the life cycle of bugs in these GreenStalks was amazing. So we will continue to revamp every year. I've talked about why we didn't revamp in the past year, but it was time now. We got it done, and I'm so thankful we did. So I was really sad to lose all of the worms that were in the soil because there were beneficial bugs and there were bad bugs, right? So we had the caterpillars and we had slugs, but we also had worms and so forth. And so in this case, the slugs and caterpillars were definitely doing a lot more damage than the worms were doing good at this point. And the soil was so depleted. It was time. So we are cleaning everything out. That's what we're doing now. I didn't have a ton of disease issues. However, there were a few. I'm not using soap during this process. What I'm doing is I'm just taking a sponge, just kind of just scrubbing the outside. These do have a color protection warranty on them. You're going to possibly see in some of the shots where I have some staining. Our apartment complex had bark laid, and they shoot colored bark down at the ground, and it's dyed, and so it stained my GreenStalks, which that's not GreenStalk's fault. It's having something dyed shot at it. So we just go through and we scrub the outside, we scrub the inside, we rinse it down, get the majority of the gunk off of it. I do all of the tiers, I do the water containers and the top watering container. I did this first one by myself, and then after this, my daughter jumped in and helped me with the other two, which I am so thankful for. The leg burn was real. So I got one cleaned out. I'm going to end up, because of our limited space here, I'm just going to build this one. And I want to show you how this thing goes together, because how it works is kind of why I love it so much. And so I want to make sure I show that to you guys. And this, when we're emptying the GreenStalks, we found a praying mantis in one of them. And I'm trying to get it to come out of the glass. We caught it to put it in the bush next to these GreenStalks, so it'll still lay its eggs here. Excited about that. Okay, so I'm going to build the regular tier. I'm going to flip you around. So the regular tier is 5 of these larger buckets, and a leaf is the smaller one, okay? So the leaf towers are 7 tall, and the regular are 5. So you get 5 tiers, you get 4 watering trays, and 1 top watering, the container to put the water in at the top. And then you have the option of a base. This base I love. I think this is called the Ultimate Spinner Base because it just spins super easy, okay? So I highly suggest that. Over here is the other one, that's just the mover base. And so you have to physically turn the whole thing in a circle, which isn't as great. So eventually I want one more Ultimate Spinner Base, so that way all three spin really easy. That's my suggestion, but if you're gonna do a whole lot of major moving, then this is fine. You can also put wheels on the bottom of the Ultimate Spinner Base, which is cool. Okay, so these little tiers, they have a fill soil to the top. You really want to make sure you fill the soil to the top, because what's going to happen is the soil, as it fills, kind of pushes these out where they need to be. And then these latch, the base latches onto those, okay? And so they stack. The other thing that's cool is the watering will sit right on top, okay? And so the water will come through the top funnel, will come down through here in each one, and so it's connected to that, right? So what's on the other side of that is a wide open spot. So that will fill up the tray and then go down to the next one. And then the water will come out the bottom, and that's when you know, when it's steadily coming out the bottom, you know all your tiers are watered. And your watering trays have these little holes in it, which is why I make sure I scrub them in between. So you would want to make sure these point to each of the pockets, right? And it'll water the roots to all your pockets. And any excess water will still come out the bottom down to the next tray. So that's kind of how these work. This watering system was the game changer. I've tried like Dollar Tree towers and some other towers, and the watering was really hard. The top tier got watered great, but the middle and bottom tiers didn't get watered very good. So this was game changer for me. Okay, so I'm gonna set you guys up and I'm going to start filling. Oh, before I do that, let me show you what I'm filling with. Okay, so I used to get the Patio Organics potting soil from Home Depot. I think it was in a yellow bag. I think it's Kellogg's. But I started having really bad, like I did fine the first year with that, and then I started having really bad results. And I think that was during the 2020-2021 season. And so after a really bad year with it, I decided to switch. I went to Green Acres, our local nursery here, and they have their soil in little jars up on the wall, so you can see like how fine the soil is, and you can look at all kinds of stuff about it, right? So this is what I get now. So I get this Recipe 420 Bang potting soil. It's the purple label. It's $12 a bag, so it is pricier here. But this stuff has worked amazing. It's not super compacted, but it's also not super chunky. It's done really, really well. There is no pot in it, but it is the good nutrients to get things to grow well. And then, let's see over here. I usually get organic compost, and this time I got organic chicken manure. So I got one bag of that, and then I get one bag of worm castings. And so for my 3 Greenstalks, we worked it out. I needed, according to the website when we did the math on how much cubic feet of soil you need and stuff like that, I needed 15.5 cubic feet of soil. So we got 12. Did I do my math right here? Yeah, I think we got 9 bags of this. I needed 10 to just barely make it. But then I had these 2 bags that I'm adding in as well. And I have one more bag right here that I bought like 3 or 4 weeks ago. to start the seeds. And so I have this that I can use as well. So we should be good. So you should be able to do your math. It'll have it on the website for regular, for leaf, and so forth on how much you need. All right, now we're going to start building. So what I'm putting in now is going to be great for starting the season out. I'm still going to need to fertilize as the season goes. So what I'm doing is I'm starting with a good third of the container being the potting soil. I add in 3 large handfuls of the worm casting, 3 scoops of the chicken poop, fill it back up almost to the top with the potting soil, do a small layer of worm castings again, and then do the potting soil to the top. Now this is pretty much the top here. When you go to move it though, it's going to settle and it's going to drop down, and you're going to see how mine are not at that tall level. I also do not water until I put it onto the base, because these get really heavy, and when you're doing a bunch of them, it will start killing your back. And so I plant when it's stacked, because I'm planting throughout the season. And I also water each tier as I stack it. I've just found that that works well for me. So laying them all out, again, 1/3 potting soil. I did 3 scoops of chicken poop and 3 big handfuls of worm casting. Fill it back up with potting soil, and then add a little bit of worm casting, and then just top it because I don't want the worm castings out in the air. And this is going to give the plants a lot of nutrients to grow throughout the season, and hopefully lasts for a while in here. And it's hopefully I'll end up with a lot of worms and a lot of good stuff too in here. I find worms throughout the season. I add them in to the soil, into the GreenStalks, and it makes a difference. I'm also going to be fertilizing through the winter months, primarily with a fish fertilizer that is higher in nitrogen, because I'm not really looking for blooms at that point or fruit. The plants I'm growing are going to be using the nitrogen, so that's what I want to replace into the soil. And then come spring, I will use a fertilizer, a liquid fertilizer that has nitrogen and the phosphorus for the flower and vegetable growth. Okay, so you can see here where I am watering as I put the layers on, making sure everything's really snapped in. As I'm picking them up and putting them on here and watering, you can already see there's a good inch of settling. I'm going to talk about it a little bit later in the video, but I might as well mention it now as well. When you're using starts, they come with dirt. So if you're starting seeds yourself and planting them in here, or you're buying starts, they come with some dirt. So that'll help with that. And then I can replace what I need to. I can just add in whatever dirt that I need. I'm going to show you the watering here. It goes down. You wait for it to come out the bottom. When it's done, then you know that your container is watered. Okay, so I got the 2 regular tiers done. Everything's, for the most part, cleaned up here. I have a little bit of soil left right here, and I ran out of soil, so I needed 10 bags. So I need to top off a couple of these, this one for sure, and I still need to finish that one. But I had enough of the chicken manure and the chicken manure and the worm castings, so I put that in there with a little bit of the dirt, and then we'll top off the rest, and then we are ready for planting, and the GreenStalks are done. So it has been a long day. It took much longer than I anticipated. I am a disaster. My short nails have yuck under them. But I'm excited these are done. So later this week, I will start to plant out some seeds. and then I will start hardening off my Brussels sprouts and my cabbage. Yeah, so I'm excited. We're moving into fall, and I'm going to keep these watered though because we're taking care of our soil. We're not just growing plants. Our plants aren't going to grow well if our soil isn't good. So I don't want my soil to go hydrophobic. So I will continue to water the soil even without anything in it. So I'm going to start some seeds. So I feel like I'm watering something. And then before we know it, things will be out. So I just finished building this GreenStalk. It's a few days since the past section of this video, and I just watered that all in. I have a little bit extra to fill in. I left some space in these pockets, and you'll see it over here as well. After it settled, I didn't refill all the way up because some of my starts have dirt with them, and so I'm going to use those to help fill up the rest of this. So we'll see how much more soil I need to top it off. Now I did just plant this one, and I left it at the level it's at. I have black velvet nasturtiums, and so every other pocket on this tier is black velvet nasturtiums and sugar daddy snap peas. This one is a whirly top pink nasturtium, every other one, and then sugar snap peas that are bush habitat. This one is white. It's like a jeweled nasturtium, also bush habitat, and every other one, and then sugar snap peas, and then sugar snap peas on the bottom, just fully on the bottom. And this is where my Brussels sprouts and celery are gonna go. So I'm just waiting for that. You can see I have them out here being hardened off. They've been out here for about an hour or so, so it's almost time to bring them in, especially since the sun's starting to hit them. So I'm going to bring these in pretty soon, and then I'll be bringing these in and out over the next few days, acclimating them to being outside, and then popping them in the GreenStalk. And then I have my cabbages over here, my Brussels sprouts, and my celery. And that's it. I'm excited about the new slate. October's garden tour should have stuff popping up in here and have some of my transplants out. So I'm super excited about that, and looking forward to the fall winter garden. Yay! Subscribe, stay with us, follow along on the journey. We'll see you on the next video.